Hey everyone, so we know property prices are a little ridiculous right now and it's taking a really long time, up to 15 years if you're in Sydney, to save for a property. So today we're going to answer the question, is it worth my while to get into property sooner by buying half a property with somebody? Now, all of the numbers are in the comments below, so you can have a look and take your time and see if this works for you. So first of all, we're going to look at an example. So let's go back to 2009, and we're doing this so that we've got an accurate read on numbers and what the growth rates have been. Let's say you bought a property with somebody and you bought a $400,000 property, which is pretty close to the median property price across Australia. You bought a half of that, so 50% share, which is $200,000 in value. And let's say you needed to borrow to be able to buy that, and the bank was willing to lend you 80% of the value of the property. Now that 80% equates to $160,000, which was the amount that you took out. Now, equity, which is the value that you own in a property, is essentially the $200,000 minus $160,000, which is $40,000. So let's see what happened to that equity in the next 12 years. Okay, so here's where it gets exciting. 12 years have passed, we're in 2021. Your property has gone up in value from $400,000 to $900,000. And your share, which was half, is now $450,000 in value. So, remember, the bank is always willing to lend up to 80% of the value of the property. The $160,000 that you borrowed, so let's assume that you didn't pay any of the principal or the value of the property, you only paid the interest. So let's say you've still got the $160,000 loan. That $160,000 loan on the $450,000 represents 35% in terms of the loan value ratio. Now, why is that important? Well, remember I said the bank is willing to lend you up to 80%. If they are, 80% of $450,000, which you have, is $360,000. So let's see what that means in terms of what you can do with that. So here's what's happened. Because now the bank is willing to lend you $360,000 on the value of your property, you had already borrowed $160,000. So you need to subtract that, which means there's $200,000 there that the bank is willing to lend you. Now, you've got two options with the property because it's gone up in value quite a bit, and you can either then sell that property and you can sell maybe your share of the property through property, you can do that now, or you can leverage the equity that you have built up. So this value of the extra $200,000 you could put towards a deposit for a new property. So if you now wanted to buy an entire property on your own, you could do that using the $200,000 to put towards the deposit of that. So have a look at the comments below. We've put all the workings down there so you can have a look and carefully consider whether this suits your specific situation. But now what we can see is there is an option for a stepping stone if you wanted to get into the market sooner and start building equity and value so that you can then buy a whole property later on.